Hello YouTube, Sentinel H here for episode 19 of my ReactorCraft Tutorial Series. So in this episode, we are going to go ahead and build ourselves a hydrogen preheater like I promised in the last episode. And I'll be honest, you guys are lucky you're getting it because I'll quickly tell you the story. We went out to lunch on Tuesday with a friend of mine, and I took my brother and I out for lunch. I wanted to go to this new Mexican restaurant to try it out. And the next morning I had a stomach flu. I think it's a stomach flu. I'm still getting over it, and it's really bad. Yes, totally sucks. Anyway, let's start building this thing while I still feel okay enough to do this. So the first level, we're going to build this from the bottom up. The first level of our hydrogen preheater is preheater unit housing corners in the corners. I know, it's crazy. Edges on the edges. This is very difficult here. And faces on the bottom. So yeah, the first layer, not complicated. In fact, as far as ReactorCraft multi-block structures go, the preheater is probably the easiest to build. Okay, then we're going to use edges on the corners. Then we're going to use faces. Oops. All around that. And then we're going to use thermal insulation core inside of that. That's our second layer. Okay? For layer 3, this is where it gets a little tricky. We're going to use, once again, edges in the corners. We're going to use faces here and here, as well as here and here, here and here, and all across here. Now, this is the level that determines which direction the thing is facing, because what we're doing is we're putting down laser concentration lenses over here. So this is the direction that your heat ray is going to be firing from, okay? And then these two are the sides where the deuterium and tritium are going to go in. So whichever side you're going to have your heat ray on, because you're going to need a heat ray to fire in here, orient it in that direction so that your heat ray will fire through these lenses, okay? This is the layer that, of course, that determines which direction it's facing. We're going to then place down our hydrogen preheater and then liquid pipes there and there. Of course, that's what's going to get the deuterium and tritium. And I don't know if you have to put them in a specific side. We'll find out in a moment once we've finished it. And then we're going to take our thermal insulation and fill in all the gaps. And then on layer 4, we're back to edges, faces, and insulation. Edge, 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 edge. Faces, 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 faces. Place a magnetic containment pipe on top of the hydrogen preheater and then surround it with thermal insulation. Okay? And now we're going to place corners, corner, 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 edges, edge, 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 edge. We're going to be sure to place another piece of magnetic containment pipe and then surround it with thermal insulation. And the 6th layer is a 3x3, and it is quite simply corner, 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 edge, 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 containment pipe. It doesn't look like it built it. I may have to place the hydrogen preheater after the structure is built. Because I think once this thing is a multi-block, these edges connect together. I thought that's how it worked. I don't know, maybe we're good. So that's what you do. That's how you build it. Okay, so let's fire it up. Or try to. If it doesn't work, I built it wrong. So now what we need to do is we need to grab, well, first of all, don't forget this step. So magnetic containment pipe, this thing produces plasma, okay? And plasma, you don't want it to touch anything. So it's not just a liquid flowing through our pipes. It's very dangerous, and if it touched the edges of our pipes, it would melt the pipes, and that would be bad. So magnetic containment pipes use the power of a Van de Graaff generator in order to stop that from happening. So whichever way you want your plasma to go, okay, just know you're going to need a Van de Graaff generator. Somewhere along the line in order to power this pipe. Okay? So let's go ahead and I think I am better off just going like, I thought I could do that. No, I really thought it would like attach to it sideways. Level gear. Now I'm failing on the easy stuff, guys. So you know, oh, my head is on fire. I think I've got a fever today. I'm not really sure, but my head is not in the right place. But I had to get the video out. Promised it to you, so you're gonna get it. Okay, so Van de Graaff generator. I don't know if there's a minimum power requirement for the pipes to work. Well, let's just do something. So if you look at the pipe, you can see that the texture on the edges of it is like moving. Oh, it always does that. Am I just freaking out? I don't know. All I know is you gotta give this thing power through a Van de Graaff generator, otherwise it doesn't work. Let's grab the handbook just to make sure that I don't have to give it a minimum power requirement. Alright. Here we go. ReactorCraft, no. Handbook. Magnetic containment pipe. No, that's all it says. So it'll probably work this way. I don't know. Yeah. Alright. I thought that this was supposed to connect. Like the edge here is supposed to connect. I hope I didn't build this wrong. Oh. Okay. So you need to give this deuterium and tritium. And I don't know if there's if one specific side has to have deuterium and one side has to have tritium in it. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna use a little trick in order to get an infinite reservoir of deuterium, because you can't pull, like I think you've seen it before. You can't. NEI won't let you pull out a reservoir of tritium or deuterium, so I kind of have to use a deuterium drum, a fluid out. And once there's some deuterium in here, then this screwdriver, then I can hit it with this magic wand tool and get my infinite supply here. So we can run this thing. All right. Let's do that. Just do it there. All right. So we've got deuterium in our reservoir. So I can now whack it with a magic wand to get infinite deuterium, just to simulate, of course, your deuterium supply, because you would have an actual deuterium supply hooked into this thing. I wish I could look past the liquid pipe to see if the hydrogen preheater is getting anything in it, because I really thought that these edges were supposed to like connect together and it was supposed to look like a solid line. Okay. Oh man, I'm not feeling okay. Okay, so we'll do the same thing on this side, only with a tritium drum. so we can get, no, I'll just do that, so we can get our infinite tritium supply. Alright, infinite tritium supply obtained. And we'll just pump that into the machine. Hopefully it works. And now we have to plop a heat ray on this thing, and we'll just put our heat ray like right here. Plonk it there. Put down our industrial coil. Now, in order to power this, you would I think you're going to need the output of a jet engine. So instead of this industrial coil, you would probably slap either a jet engine, or let's be honest, if you're building a fusion reactor, you're probably running most of your stuff off of nuclear power by now. But 5. Oh, I don't know. I think it's like 65, 536, and 16, 382? Or is it 16, 384? I think it's 2. Is it on? It's on. The question is if this is working. Doesn't seem to be working. I don't think I did this right. So let's just turn this off and see if we can't get this multi-block to register. Well, see, it's got deuterium and tritium in it. There we go. There we go, guys. Look, it worked. That's what it's supposed to look like. Right. Yep. I knew that was supposed to happen. So now it'll work. It'll take a little bit. It's got to heat up. It's got to get real hot. So, I don't know. You give it the more power. I think you can give the heat ray more power in order to heat it up faster. I think once it's heated, it just keeps producing. But it does have to heat up to a ridiculously high temperature, so let's just like, I think that was the right number. Let's just like pump this up. I don't know if that's going to do anything, because I can't remember if the heat ray gets more powerful with torque or speed, or if it's just overall power. Now, I don't have anywhere to put this plasma, but I'm pretty sure that it'll go into the pipe anyway. Like, you're not supposed to be able to store this stuff, but if you go into NEI, or if I go into the Creative tab, Fusion Plasma Drum, that's not supposed to be a thing, okay? So don't think you can do that, because you're not supposed to be able to do that. I can't think of any way that you would get the fusion plasma from the magnetic containment pipe into a drum, though, because these won't connect to the drums. At least I'm pretty sure they won't. So I really don't know how you would, without cheating like that, get that, because I really don't think you could. And I wonder if I grab it. I don't know, is this a thing? Yeah, it is a thing. So if we whack this with an angular transducer, we can see how hot it is. And we can see that the temperature is going up. And I don't actually know what this needs to get to, but it's currently 42 million Celsius. That's pretty hot. I don't know what this has to hit, but it's going up pretty quick, so we should see some plasma being created fairly soon. And hopefully the fact that the plasma has nowhere to go in that pipe won't lead to an explosion that blows off my ceiling. Although I think if the pipe melts, it'll just go poof and not really destroy any blocks. But this thing has to get pretty darn hot, as you can see, which is why it requires a heat ray. It's definitely endgame tech, guys. Definitely. Yeah. fusion reactor, the definition of endgame. It's still heating up. Again, I don't know what temperature it has to hit. Let's go into our ReactorCraft handbook, and we'll see where do we find. Okay, so how hot does it have to get? It has to get to 150 million C. I don't know why it says you have to put hydrogen in it, because you have to put deuterium and tritium in it. I mean, I know that those are just isotopes, so it's technically correct. So that'd be better if you said deuterium and tritium, so people wouldn't get confused. So yeah, this has to hit a really, really high temperature, and I think we're going to get there, actually. Because what was that number that I just said? Already forgotten. It's 150 million. And we're currently at 67 million. 68 million. So, I will pause the recording here, and I will be back just before we hit this mark. Alright guys, so we just hit 150. We got the achievement, How Hot, and we now have fusion plasma inside of our containment pipe. Sweet! So we've created fusion plasma. So yeah, you do have to hit 150 million C. That did take about 5 minutes to heat up from where I cut it off. So yeah, it will take a while to heat up, but it is creating quite a bit. Now obviously we have infinite supplies on here, so there's no, I don't really know how quickly it would use up the tritium and the deuterium. But yeah, so we're producing fusion plasma. And right at this moment, I can't tell you how many of these guys you're going to need to run a fusion reactor. I think it'll probably depend on... okay, I think we seem to have maxed out. Alright. Anyway, it'll probably depend on the number of plasma injectors that you actually have on your reactor. So anyway, we'll just turn that off. And now it's gonna start cooling down. But anyway, that's how to build the hydrogen preheater. So once you've built your hydrogen preheater, make sure that it goes like this with the edges coming together. I guess when I just took out these lenses and put them back in, it sort of registered that the block had been created. There might be some sort of directionality thing with that, because I know that on some of these multi-blocks, you have to be facing a certain way when you place a final block. But anyway, so that's the hydrogen preheater. You're going to need these to produce your plasma, and please don't store these in tanks. I know you technically can. There are some tanks that will connect to this. This doesn't make any sense. So you're supposed to pump this straight into a reactor. Anyway, yeah, I hope I'll get better, so I can get more videos for you guys. But I'm glad I was able to get this video out. I'm Sentinel H, and I'm signing out.